Ukraine's water drones shock global militaries.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously, the reports hitting the wire this morning aren't just a standard tech update.
No, not at all. This is a rewrite of the rules.
It's a complete rewrite of naval doctrine. We are watching a fundamental shift in how wars are fought at sea, and it's happening, in real time.
It really is an absolute pivot point in military history. I mean, we are watching a nation with effectively no traditional navy
None.
dismantle a superpower's fleet using technology that was, let's be honest, basically science fiction just 5 years ago.
It is Monday, February 03, 2026, and this is going to be a very special deep dive. Before we get into the classified specs and the underwater explosions, just a quick reminder for you. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex. Join me with Aria in the latest podcast by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we're going to cover
The Invisible Fleet.
the Invisible Fleet. We are analyzing the underwater and surface drones that have effectively forced the Russian Black Sea Fleet into hiding. And we're going to focus specifically on the just-revealed Marichka heavy underwater drone.
And the industrial scaling of what people are calling Ukraine's mosquito fleet.
Right.
And our mission today, I think, is to look past the spec sheets. We need to really understand the strategy. How did Ukraine use this asymmetric tech, rapid prototyping, and industrial scaling with companies like Aquatechnik to just dominate the Black Sea?
Against overwhelming odds. We have so much ground to cover, and some of it is frankly mind-blowing. We're going to break down how a $750 engine is powering the next generation of swarms.
Which is just an unbelievable number.
We're going to look at the subsea baby that did the impossible, striking a submarine inside a protected harbor.
And we'll get into the Katran, a drone that, I get this, actually fights back against helicopters.
It's a dense topic, so let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
So let's start with the breaking news from this morning, February 3rd. The Marichka. For the last few years, the image in everyone's head when we say Ukrainian naval drone is a speedboat.
Right. A surface vessel skimming the waves, uncrewed surface vessels or USVs, those have been the workhorses.
Exactly.
But the Marichka is a different beast entirely. According to the reports we're seeing, the Marichka is a heavy unmanned underwater vehicle, a UUV.
So it's essentially a submarine drone.
Yeah.
But isn't a submarine drone just a fancy word for a torpedo? What makes this different?
That is the key distinction. A torpedo is a sprint weapon. It's launched, it runs very fast for a short distance, and it hits.
Right.
The Marichka is an endurance vehicle. It has a range of approximately 1,000 kilometers.
1,000 kilometers.
It doesn't just sprint, it travels, it voyages.
That covers the entire Black Sea. You could launch this from Odessa and hit almost anywhere on the Russian coast.
Easily. And it's not just the range, it's the payload. It carries over 1,000 kilograms of explosives.
Wow.
To give you a sense of scale, a standard heavy torpedo might carry, 200 or 300 kilograms? This is a massive amount of destructive power.
Enough to break a warship in half.
Or shatter the concrete supports of a bridge. It's a strategic weapon.
But why make the shift to underwater now? The surface drones, the Magura, the Sea Baby, they were incredibly successful. Why complicate things?
Because the enemy adapts. Surface drones have a major weakness, and it's just physics. They're on the surface. They leave a wake.
A white foamy trail.
You can see them with thermal cameras, you can spot them from helicopters, and you can shoot them with machine guns. We've all seen the footage.
So it's a survivability issue. If you can't be seen, you can't be shot.
Precisely. By moving underwater, you remove that visual signature. You take away the ability for a sailor with a machine gun to stop the attack. Plus, think about traditional harbor defenses like boom nets.
The floating barriers.
Yeah, they're designed for surface boats. The Marichka can just dive right under them.
And there's this capability mentioned in the Aquatechnik report about loitering. That just sounds ominous.
That is the nightmare scenario for a fleet commander. Because this is an electric drone, it can navigate to a shipping lane or a harbor entrance, settle on the seafloor, and just go to sleep. Waiting for a specific acoustic signature, a timer, a signal. It turns into a mine that can reposition itself. That psychological pressure, knowing that any patch of water could have a 1,000 kilogram bomb waiting, It's paralyzing.
And this isn't some garage prototype anymore. I was reading about Aquatechnik's 4-hull strategy.
Right, and this is where the genius of their logistics comes in. It's not just about the boat, it's the supply chain. Instead of building random bespoke prototypes, they've industrialized.
Standardized.
4 standardized hulls: riverine, coastal, high sea, and now subsurface for these stealth attacks. Means they can use the same parts, the same control systems.
Which lets them scale up production like crazy.
It's a tiered navy, just without any sailors. It's a remarkably efficient way to counter a traditional naval power.
And we already saw the proof of concept for this. The Novorossiysk attack back in December 2025. That story feels like it got buried in the holidays, but it was historic.
It was a watershed moment. In December, a Russian Kilo-class submarine, likely the B-271 Kolpino, was struck while it was docked in Novorossiysk.
And just to orient everyone, Novorossiysk is way over on the eastern side of the Black Sea. This was supposed to be the safe zone.
Correct. They retreated there to escape the Ukrainian reach. And yet, the SBU, Ukraine's security service, managed to slip a subsea baby, a variant of this tech, into the harbor.
There's a deep irony there, isn't there? A submarine is the ultimate stealth predator, and it gets taken out by a stealth drone while it's parked in its own driveway.
It's a humiliation, for sure, but operationally, it's a disaster for Russia. Those subs are the missile carriers. They launch the caliber cruise missiles.
The ones that hit Ukrainian cities.
Exactly. By hitting them in the harbor, Ukraine didn't just damage a hull, they disrupted the launch cycle. They saved lives on the mainland.
It's that idea of fleet in being denial.
Yeah, that's it. If you can't park your ship safely in your port, and you can't sail it safely at sea, what good is your navy? It becomes a liability. It forces Russia to spend billions on harbor defenses they can't spend elsewhere.
Asymmetric economic warfare.
Perfect way to put it.
So speaking of the pennies versus dollars,
Yeah.
let's look at the surface fleet. The Sea Baby.
The classic, the platform that really started this revolution. But the 2026 version is, well, it's unrecognizable from the one a few years ago.
I was looking at the cost. $240,000 per unit. That sounds like a lot. But in military terms.
In military terms, it's a rounding error. A single cruise missile can cost $2 million. A warship is $500 million. So a $250,000 drone with an 850-kilogram warhead is unbelievably cost-effective.
But they aren't just suicide boats anymore. I saw reports about them carrying flamethrowers.
Circles. It sounds like something out of a Mad Max movie, doesn't it?
It really does.
But yes, the real evolution, though, the one that matters most strategically, is air defense.
This gets back to the helicopter problem we mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The biggest predator of the drone boat is the attack helicopter. So what does Ukraine do? They started mounting R-73 heat-seeking missiles on the Sea Babies.
We saw that footage from May 2024, the drone firing back at the Russian helicopter.
It changes the rules completely. Before, a helicopter could hover low and slow and just pick them off. Now, if they get too close, they eat a missile. It forces the pilots to stay back, makes their aim worse, and buys the drone time.
They also solved that whole communication issue, the Musk switch-off problem.
That was a hard lesson, but they engineered around it. The new systems use redundant comms, satellite, radio, inertial guidance. If one link goes down, the others take over. They're not reliant on a single provider anymore.
It's just incredible how fast they iterate. Which brings us to the next evolution, which is all about speed. The Katran.
Named after a shark. Developed by the Ukrainian military armored company Hub.
And the key stat here is 130 kilometers per hour. That's nearly 70 knots.
For context, a fast warship does maybe 30 knots. This is more than double the speed of the targets it's hunting.
But speed isn't enough if a missile locks onto you.
True. And that's why the Katran is so advanced. It's not just fast, it's smart. It has defensive AI sensors.
How does that actually work?
So the sensors detect the launch of an incoming missile. The AI immediately triggers countermeasures. It deploys smoke screens to blind optical sensors.
And fires off flares to confuse heat seekers.
Precisely. It's basically using fighter jet tactics on the water. It actively fights for its own survival, and it fights back. It's armed with Pyro-run anti-aircraft missiles and a Browning machine gun.
A machine gun on a drone boat doing 70 knots, how can you even hit anything?
It's probably for suppression. You spray the helicopter with 50 Sparrow, you don't have to shoot it down, you just have to make the pilot flinch. It turns a suicide mission into a real naval battle.
So we have underwater stealth, we have high-speed brawlers, but let's zoom out to the economics. How are they sustaining this?
That is the crucial question, and the answer is an ecosystem of radical cost reduction.
Which brings us to this engine, the Shim 20.
produced by a company called First Parsec. It's a pulse jet engine. Now, this is old tech, like the German V-1 buzz bombs from World War II.
So why go backwards, tech-wise?
Because they are incredibly simple, almost no moving parts. And because of that simplicity, the Shim 20 costs $750.
700. Wait, what?
$750. And in bulk, it drops to $500.
That is absurd. A standard drone turbine costs tens of thousands.
Exactly. This engine is mainly for aerial drones, but the philosophy is the same. You can launch a swarm of 50 drones, and the engines only cost you 25 grand total. You can just overwhelm a multi-million-dollar air defense system.
It's the economics of attrition. If they shoot down your drone with a missile that costs $100,000.
You win that exchange every time. And this ecosystem extends to logistics, too. Look at the British Wind Racers Ultra drones.
The heavy cargo UAVs.
Yes. They're flying in spare parts, munitions, supplies, right to the drain units on the coast. It's a self-supporting drone ecosystem.
So if we step back and look at the big picture, we have all this tech. What is the actual strategic result? What's the so what?
The so what is that Ukraine is still alive, economically. We have to remember that Ukraine's economy depends on exporting grain by sea.
The grain corridor.
Exactly. The Russian blockade was meant to strangle that trade to bankrupt the country. These drones, this invisible fleet, forced the Russian warships to retreat. They pushed the blockade line back.
So the drones kept the trade routes open.
They did. From a military history perspective, it is an asymmetric victory of the highest order. A country with no classical navy defeated a naval superpower in their own backyard using robots.
And they are not slowing down. The production goals for 2026 are staggering.
Over 7 million drones. That's across all types, air, sea, and land. But it just shows the scale of their commitment. This isn't an experiment anymore. This is the new way of war.
7 million. That number is hard to wrap your head around. It really feels like the era of the massive, expensive warship sitting safely in a harbor might be over.
I think it is. When you can lose a $400 million submarine to a drone that costs less than a luxury car, the math just doesn't work for traditional navies anymore.
Ukraine has rewritten the rules.
And this raises a really uncomfortable question for everyone. If this technology is available to Ukraine, it's going to be available to others soon.
That's a terrifying thought.
It is. If a $240,000 drone can disable a strategic asset in its home port, are we looking at the obsolescence of traditional navies? Or is this just the start of a terrifying new arms race beneath the waves?
Something to think about. You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
Thanks for listening.
Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.